is NFL trade deadline day, and we will know by 4 p.m. this afternoon how far in on this season the New England Patriots are. And I, for one, as I said yesterday during my lead, I am begging them, pleading with them to be all in. Please do something of significance today. Please.
Can I say something, though? Because I was thinking about it after we talked with Vrabel yesterday, and I do feel much different than I do after a Red Sox trade deadline where we say, okay, Chaim Bloom, and Craig Breslow, they're not in it this year. Like, they're not in it because they didn't make any moves. Like, if the Patriots don't make any moves for the trade deadline, I don't necessarily sit back and say, yeah, they're not all in this year. I take it as Mike Vrabel feels like he can do it with the team he's got. I wouldn't give up the way I do at a Red Sox trade deadline.
Why? They're the same thing.
I understand they're the same thing, but the teams are so vastly different.
Well, no, the teams are, because if you look at the Red Sox trades or non-trades over the past several years.
I'm saying talent on the teams are so vastly different.
Well, I'm saying first half of the season, they both were in really good positions. I mean, the Red Sox were.
Yeah,
one
they weren't
season,
in great position.
One season, they were 10 games above.
I'm talking about last season.
Last season, weren't they pretty good at the deadline?
Well, I think, Courtney, I'm not going to speak for you, but the Red Sox last season were never the number one team in the American League.
Right.
Right now, the Patriots are the number one team tied with, depending on the tiebreaker, with the Colts and the Broncos. So that is different. If the Red Sox were leading the American League in wins at the trade deadline as opposed to being in third place in the American League East, it may have been slightly different.
I also, Curtis, you're 100% right, and thank you for explaining that better than I could have. But I just don't have that same feeling of they have to do something to prove to me that they're all in this season. I don't know why. It's just the way in which Mike Vrabel speaks about it. I trust whatever decisions he wants to make.
Yeah, I guess you'd have to tell me why they wouldn't be. And Mike Vrabel was on this show yesterday. By the way, couple dialogue setters, global dialogue setters during that interview yesterday, which we will get to at some point, I'm sure. But you'd have to tell me why they aren't in, because Mike Vrabel was on this show yesterday saying he has zero concern about adding somebody, even if that somebody is a potential troublemaker, adding somebody to the locker room. He's not concerned about that. They have all the room in the world when it comes to the cap. And so you'd have to tell me, I understand what you're saying, but you'd have to tell me why they would not be all in. Why, if you can,
right?
And again, Vrabel yesterday on the show, Mike Vrabel kind of couched it again with, as long as he added in, as long as they can help in the future. Like, I understand the future, but you're not guaranteed a future, and you are guaranteed this year that you are a playoff team, right, and you are guaranteed at some point to run in. I mean, maybe not guaranteed. Here comes the jinx, but you may run into an injury issue. You're wondering what the situation is going to be for this week with Booty. So, and you don't have a ton of depth on the roster. I just think you have an opportunity that is right smack dab in front of you, and you ought to invest and you ought to go.
Well,
for it.
the way I look at it, Courtney, is like this, right? And this is the way I compare it to the Red Sox. At the trade deadline, you're competing for a playoff spot. You're not out of it, right? Yeah, the Red Sox, the Patriots are in first place. The Red Sox weren't. But both teams are competing for a playoff spot. And both teams, first half of the season, you'd go, oh, this team has a chance to compete for a playoff spot. So my comparison to the Red Sox is, if you're a playoff contender, why wouldn't you add to a team that could potentially put you over the hump and get you to the next level? And that's where I make the comparison. The Red Sox didn't add, and it kind of came back to bite them in the butt, past couple of seasons. And I'm not saying it's going to happen with the Patriots. I'm just saying, when I look at this team, where they're going to be during the trade deadline, they're going to be a playoff contender.
Yeah, they are.
And if you look at the other playoff contenders, they're adding. I think the Eagles added. I saw Did the Ravens add or did they trade a defensive lineman?
I didn't.
No,
see.
I think they added one from Tennessee.
Correct. They added Jones, Dearness Jones.
Right, and so granted, they might not be in the mix right now, but obviously their expectations are we'd like to be in the mix.
But at the Red Sox trade deadline,
yeah,
when they don't do anything, the conversation we always have is this front office does not trust the team in front of them. They don't think that this team in front of them can make it all the way, so they're not making any moves. That's been the conversation we've been having.
Yeah, okay.
If there is no movement for the Patriots today at the trade deadline, I do not think Elliott Wolf, Mike Vrabel, anybody else that has a say when it comes to trades that they could or couldn't make don't believe in this team that they have in front of them.
No, yeah, okay.
I think
right, but I don't think the Red Sox.
Oh,
not
Wiggy,
that they didn't believe.
That's revisionist history.
Yeah, no, because I've always said this. If you're a playoff contender, whether it's the Sox, the Celtics, the Bruins, the Patriots, at the trade deadline, your job as an organization is maybe you don't think that you can win a championship, but your job should be like, if we add a piece, will this help us in the postseason? So when I look at this team, does Vrabel and those guys believe that they can win? Yeah, absolutely. But you traded away a defensive end, and I'm talking about that position. Greg brought up Keyshawn Boutte. We don't know what the injury is with his hamstring, so maybe that affects him. So maybe you need wide receiver help. I just wouldn't understand why you wouldn't make a move.
Yeah. My thing, though, is the biggest difference between the Red Sox and the Patriots is that people trust Vrabel as the front-facing guy, and they don't trust the Red Sox as much.
Yeah.
So what the Patriots are, whatever they do, there's such a feeling of genuine gratitude and support for the fact that Vrabel's the head coach and they're 7-2. I would also, but I think, Greg, like looking at the Red Sox trade deadline, it wasn't that they didn't get Joe Ryan, which would have been great. It was that they failed to get depth on a team that they knew was going to be young and potentially not the same at the end of the year. And that's what killed them. And the Patriots, you said it, they are thin.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been incredibly healthy, which is great, knock on wood. But you cannot think that is going to extend deep into the season, especially with young guys in key spots. So why wouldn't you at least acquire guys? Like, and the other thing, though, like if they got Hendrickson, right? He's a free agent at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So if Hendrickson plays great and you trade a second-round pick for him, then you can franchise him and get a pick back and trade him. Like, it's win-win.
Yeah. Well, we will find out in 10 hours or less what their intention is. And
right.
And speaking of the Red Sox, it would appear that Alex Bregman has officially opted out.
Yeah.
And we'll see what free agency looks like for him. So he must feel like he can make more than $40 million a year somewhere else. So
yeah, we saw that one coming, right? You know?
Yeah, we saw it. Well, I don't know that I saw it coming. I mean, the man told me over and over again how much he loved it here.
So did Kyrie.
I understand, but I take these people at their word.
Never take them at their word, Greg.
Call me a naive fool.
Naive fool.
When they say I love the city. I love mentoring the young guys.
Right.
We were right there this last season when
maybe his wife doesn't like the Harvard program.
Could be that. Maybe they don't like the clam chowder. I don't know. That's been an issue in the past. It's just, I mean,
everybody loves the city until they want more money.
I'm fine with as long as you're going to spend that $40 million elsewhere, like, you know, you name the player, whether it's Pete Alonso or whatever. As long as you're spending the money, then I'm okay with Alex Bregman not being back, but we can get to that this morning as well. Can
we remove the Cohiba post on Instagram since he opted out?
Yes. Well, thankfully, he only smoked half of the Cohiba. Right. So that's half a Cohiba per year when it comes to the contract.
Do you think he has a guy that gets rid of the cigar stench?
I think he has a room.
It probably has a beautiful room where there's a ventilation system and such in there, Curtis.
Is this cigar worth the smell that stays on you for 12 hours?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Are you
Some guys like it.
Yeah.
Are you suggesting that Linda is in bed early watching Real Housewives of Los Angeles and John Henry?
Atlanta.
And John comes to bed with reeking of cigars. I don't think so. I highly doubt that goes on in that
Takes
house.
a full shower.
I highly doubt. So.
And you're also saying have something something happens that I doubt, but I don't want to go down that road.
Some guys love the stogies.